Racial justice was at the forefront of President Biden's agenda when he took office. Despite signing an executive order on advancing racial equity, he's made little progress since his election, including on voting rights and police reform, two major concerns for Black voters. He now faces a GOP House that takes a radically different position on such issues. Still, the Biden administration has seen some success in passing part of its racial justice agenda. Here's where key aspects of the Biden administration's racial justice agenda stands. Criminal justice reform. A major campaign pledge was to strengthen America's commitment to justice and reform our criminal justice system. Part of that included reducing the number of incarcerated people. In October, Biden took a step forward by pardoning everyone convicted of simple possession of marijuana under federal law.
Criminal records for marijuana possession have led to needless barriers to employment, to housing, and educational opportunities. No one should be in jail just for using or possessing marijuana.
But the pardons didn't release anyone from jail. There is no one currently in federal custody for simple possession of marijuana. But the pardons will make it easier for those convicted to apply for a job or try to rent an apartment. But other key aspects of Biden's criminal justice reform agenda have not passed. Marijuana remains illegal at the federal level, and cash bail remains the standard for most states. Biden has also not established the campaign-promised task force on prosecutorial discretion, which would look at how decisions are made on when to charge someone and with what crimes, both of which vary widely across jurisdictions. White supremacy. Black voters have consistently identified racism as one of the top concerns, and part of that includes having white supremacy declared a national security threat. While this has not happened yet, Biden's January 20th, 2021 executive order instructed the Department of Homeland Security to address white supremacists and other domestic terrorists. The goal was to improve the federal government's understanding of white supremacy, prevent groups from being mobilized, and counter the use of the internet in recruiting domestic terrorists. In a report soon after, the DHS identified white supremacists as the biggest terror threat to the United States. But white supremacist-perpetuated violence has persisted. A white supremacist gunman attacked a supermarket in a predominantly Black area of Buffalo, New York, killing 10 in May of last year. And in June, 31 people affiliated with the white nationalist group Patriot Front were caught on their way to a pride parade in Iowa. Addressing Asian American Pacific Islander hate crimes. Misinformation about the COVID-19 pandemic saw a rise in hate crimes against AAPI communities, with attacks against adults, students, and AAPI businesses. Biden took steps to address the increase in hate crimes against the AAPI community in May 2021, when he signed the COVID-19 hate crimes bill into law. The law aims to make reporting hate crimes at the local and state levels easier. It also directs the DOJ to appoint a designated officer to expedite the review of hate crimes related to COVID-19. It would authorize grants to state and local governments to create programs for preventing and responding to hate crimes. At the signing of the bill, Biden called anti-AAPI sentiments simply un-American. Racial wealth gap. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the impact of the racial wealth gap. During the pandemic, Black families were more likely than white families to face financial hardships and to have less access to resources. So, on the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre, Biden announced his administration would take action to address racial discrimination in the housing market, a huge win for Black communities that have faced widespread discrimination in housing appraisals. Biden also announced student loan forgiveness up to $20,000. About 24% of Black adults have federal student loan debt, compared to only 14% of white adults. On average, Black college graduates owe $7,400 more than their white peers when they graduate, according to the Brookings Institution. Still, advocates say upwards of $50,000 in student loan forgiveness is needed to truly begin addressing the racial wealth gap. Biden's loan forgiveness plan now faces challenges before the Supreme Court.